All right, and we are live. What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of I'd Rather Be Motivated, the live podcast check-in that Scott and I, Mr. David Fleming, that's who I am, kind of do every single week. You can find me at Art of Mr. Fleming on Instagram and Mr. David Fleming on Facebook, and those are the two best places to find us. And obviously, I'dRatherBeDrawing.com is our website. And if you're watching this, you found the channel, which is great because that's another thing that we like to share. So tonight's episode, we're going to do our usual check-in, progress, problems, plans, and then we're going to kind of talk about future plans leading into the end of the year. Because, it's kind of crazy to think we only got one more month left in this year, and then we're going to start the new year, and we've got a lot of really cool stuff to kind of share and talk about. But in our sort of check-in, we're also going to kind of critique each other and talk to each other about some new things we have going on and kind of videos in general, because just the general use of our channel, we've been really wanting to beef up lately, and with more videos every week, since it's the two of us doing that, we have our shared show here that we do, and we kind of thought it'd be a really cool idea to kind of do a I have a show, he has a show too, that we kind of get to you guys very often, once a month, once a week kind of thing. So yeah, so over to you, Scott.
Hello, everybody. My name is Scott O Green. Best place to find me when I'm not here on the YouTubes. Currently is on Instagram under Mr. Green Draws. That's mr.greendraws. And I'dRatherBeDrawing.com, as well as I'd Rather Be Drawing on Facebook. So check it out. And that's what I got so far. Want to kick it off, David? We're starting with progress, right?
Yeah, man.
It's been a while since we've been able to get together, so
yeah. I forgot.
I recall exactly what's been going on, but you go ahead.
The full I was thinking it was only a week, but if we would have made it to this Sunday, it would have been a full 2 weeks, wouldn't it have been? So, progress, man. I have made a lot of progress. I'm rolling along. I've kind of been doing a lot of behind the scenes stuff. I've now decided that March is going to be my month for the Kickstarter. That'll be Planet Comic-Con, which is my big show that I do every year. It's kind of my biggest in Kansas City. And so I kind of want the Kickstarter to be going while I'm there at Planet Comic-Con, because I think it would be a really cool thing to be able to talk to people when they come to my table. It's going on right now, it's live, go support it kind of thing. I got quotes from printers. I checked out some local and a couple of online ones, and I think I found who I'm going with. I'm still kind of talking to them right now. They just emailed me back, and I'm trying to figure out the shipping basically. But I got a really good quote per book on the soft cover, so it's not going to be saddle stitched. It's going to be a nice bound soft cover book kind of thing, and it's called Kraken Print is the name of the website. I found it a long time ago through some podcasts that I like to listen to, and it kind of just popped back in my brain kind of randomly. And they had a really easy to navigate website. I suggest anyone who's printing or ever know anything good. I haven't done any actual business with them, but all of this beforehand stuff has been awesome. They've been super friendly and super comic friendly is a good way of putting it too. And they've got examples on their websites of great comics that in the past they have been the ones to do do the printing of and stuff. So I'm excited. I've been listening to this podcast called Comics Launch, which is all about getting on and doing Kickstarter stuff too. And there's been all this, I really like it a lot because they do this, what do you do when the podcast is over? Leave the podcast and go do an action kind of thing. And I'm all about that. So one of the ones was there's no time the time right now to go get your quote kind of thing. Stop being I'll get the quote when I'm done or when I'm ready or when I get closer, you know what I mean? So that's been really cool. So I've been digging in deeper, finding out the actual exacts about what this looks like to do a Kickstarter and how much money I'll need to raise to be happy with a certain amount of books that I'll get, all that kind of stuff. So, and then I'm on page 12 now as well with my pencils, and I'm going to do a preview, a PDF preview, which is going to be available to anyone on our mailing list, which we're going to start advertising that here after we send out the mailing list for this month, which is probably going to go out probably tomorrow morning. Excuse me. I've also been fighting off another cold, which I'm just telling myself isn't a cold, and I'm just moving past it because, man, I cannot get over getting a stupid cough every other week or losing my voice kind of stuff. And let's see. So, so just ordered a scanner. It should be in here tomorrow. That does large format scanning. So I'm going to be able to start scanning in my pages and not have to go to Kinko's to get them scanned in. and that's going to be starting the progress of actually getting sort of the words, the bubbles, the actual story in, so I can like kind of make that PDF to send out to you guys, so that you guys can get that preview of Analog Missions, get stoked, excited for the beginning of next year, and just, you know, hold on to your pants because it's going to be a good one.
That all sounds awesome, man. I love how excited you are about this, and like I've said before, I think that always shows through a lot with passion projects like this. Is when an artist is really excited about what they're doing, not just they're doing something for a client or just to get something else out there. But I feel like this type of just pumped is definitely going to show through in what you got going on, man.
Yeah, I know. I kind of feel like sometimes I can over talk about it because I am just like that excited about it. Like you know, and some of my fans know, like I printed 50 of that first book I wrote. It was just like a fun 16-page short story thing. I sat with it myself and made about 50 copies, and in 2 cons I sold out of it. And so that kind of told me, like, I obviously am doing something right with this. And even that one I'm kind of embarrassed to look back at. Like I feel like I'm just way better at it than I was just a year ago, kind of thing. So I am just really excited to take the step of like getting it bound and making a really beautiful just product for people to put in their hands.
Totally listening. Sorry I spaced out there for a second. I was just saying hey to everybody in the chats. Just real quick, want to give a shout out to them. Ace is there with us. How you doing, Ace? And Spencer George. I met Spencer the other night watching the 48-hour art check with Corey Kerr and
awesome.
Joshua Kemble. So it's really cool having you over here, Spence. Nice to meet you. He says, happy to learn something from you guys. I like the idea of launching it at Comic-Con. Nothing creates hype like a newly announced project. Yeah, and then when you're like this, like excited about it to talk to people about it instead of everybody else who's like had the same project for a couple years and they've been saying the same stuff. I think that's going to work out nice for you.
Yeah, I got the idea because I just did a convention last weekend in Wichita, and like I brought my book of pages, and whenever people got really excited about my originals, I did this really cool thing with my book where I realized that when I do my, like I do lots of drawings of my robots now, you know? And so with my portfolio on the table, I make the whole left side of the portfolio my own originals, and the whole right side of my portfolio is like my little fan art pieces. So as people are flipping through the book, they're able to easily be like, well, why do I know that character? And I'm like, it's because it's my character, like that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a lot of people who were like literally flipping through, and I could see their eyes were like only on the side of my characters, and they're like, "Oh, what's this dude? Like, what's this all about? Like, who's this guy?" And I was able to like actually literally pull out my binder and let them flip through the pages I had done, and I had a lot of people like really stoked about it, and that's always a good feeling. I always like I had one guy literally come up to the table, and he was, and this is like one of my favorite interactions. He like pointed at Apollo and was like, "I'm sorry, I just don't recognize that character in that in the bottom corner there." And I'm like, "That's because it's my character." And he's like, "It's the only reason I came over here. I'm just really intrigued by that character." And I was able to like talk to him about it and stuff like that. And you know, like it's really cool when it's like the reason that they spotted my thing from across the way is because of something I made and not just like my style on someone else's character.
That is a good feeling, man. Killer. I'm glad that's happening for you, and you've been working your butt off for it. That's awesome.
Yeah, so Ace was he's the one who made me do the Wichita convention. He's from Wichita. He just made a little inside joke here on the chat. But yeah, we had a couple of really fun weirdos, but like, you know, for the love of weirdos, it's why we go to conventions. Who just like we had this guy, and then it was the best thing ever. Like, I don't know if you guys ever seen Bob's Burgers, but he danced like Jimmy Jr. on Bob's Burgers in front of our table for like 3 minutes because we had like a speaker like playing show hop the whole time. And we were like, that just happened.
Are you still bringing music with you to a lot of these?
So I haven't in the past, but this was just like I had a little bit of a weird experience with the convention where I didn't realize I did, but I bought like a balcony booth. I just like, it said Artist Alley balcony booth, and I thought that meant like Artist Alley is like on the balcony at this con. But what it really was like an overflow of like, we ran out of space, but we're still selling tables, but we're gonna stick you over here instead. Wow. We got very like annexed from the convention, so Ace brought a speaker with a microphone in, and we kind of just took over the balcony.
That's awesome. It looked like you guys were having a good time.
Oh yeah, oh my gosh, it was hilarious. We were like literally like more or less hackling and like having fun with people, and like just like making like wham, 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 like introducing people, and like we were teasing around too. And at one point I was like, for the next 5 minutes only, everything on my table will be for sale for whatever I've listed it for. That's right. There's a sale at my table. Everything must go if you pay for it. And we had like literal people stop and be like, there's a sale. I'm sorry, did you say there was a sale?
Yeah, everything on this table is in fact for sale.
Yeah, basically. And they were like, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm in.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a good time. But enough about me, man. How about you? Let's talk about progress.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, it has been a while. So finally, I actually ran some trouble getting that 100 days video wrap up thing that I was trying to make. I recorded the voiceover for it like I wanted to, and then just through me and my magic of screwing up technology stuff, I lost that track. So I kind of had it like almost done, and then all the words that I edited and everything I kind of lost. So that put me behind schedule a little bit, but I finally got that out. But because of that, it kind of ended up it turned into something else, which was I got in my kind of first ever top 10 list, or top 10 tips sort of a thing. So I kind of counted that as I'm an official YouTuber now, since I have a top 10 video. But since it was about my kind of 100 days wrap up, and it had been a little bit of time since the 100 days since I ran into that problem, I decided to kind of do my 10 tips for completing a successful 100 days of making comics. So if you are interested in what 100 days of making comics is, check that out. It gives a good kind of introduction into what that is. The other part of what the video was kind of introducing my idea for what I want to do as just a video segment for me and how to express myself, do an art thing, but what else is that, and do something hopefully a little bit original, or at least original just because it's through my kind of point of view or whatnot. But talked about my future plans of drawing inspiration, a kind of segment that I'd like to get going here on YouTube when I'm not able to do this with David, or just as kind of a once a month thing, and maybe have a little bit of fun with editing it together. But between that, and I also for my anniversary I got one of these toys. You know these, David, right?
Wait, hold on. I just jumped away to start doing my doodling.
Oh, sorry. Boopy. Yes. You can see. Yeah, these guys.
Awesome.
Do you remember what they're called? Like Body Coon? Or something?
There's like the male Body Coon and male Chun or something. It's something like that. It's
I'll post it. Like I said before, I'm trying to get better about having good links in the description below about like show notes and everything of things that we talk about, so you can check that out. But anyway, I got a set, the male and female, for my wife. So, and something that you and I, David, have talked about, and something I've known for a while and wanted to do, is kind of go back to basics a little bit on some anatomy stuff, and actually just spend some time doing some figure drawing stuff. And I thought this would be kind of a fun way to do it. So it has been fun utilizing these guys, putting an extreme light on it, and even taking a picture with my phone, so then I can go to a coffee shop or something and draw something kind of unique. And I haven't got a chance to do too many of them, but it has been kind of fun. I don't know if you can see these guys very well, but just kind of working on the extreme shadows and lights and darks, and just kind of trying to make the figure feel solid in a, make it appear 3D in a two-dimensional space type thing. So trying to get that going. Little doodles and stuff like that. Got Mr. Green's Monster Zine. That should be coming pretty soon. One thing that this kind of got put on the back burner for a little while too, just with some other stuff going on. But they had sent a cool proof, but it had kind of the wrong paper for the cover that I kind of shown you way back when.
Oh, yes.
And so I kind of finally got all that straightened out, and I had actually a decent amount of, I strongly recommend getting a physical proof, because I went through the digital proof and was like, cool, everything looks great, but wanted to kind of know what the paper was going to feel like on the cover. And then once I got that, I actually had quite a bit of grammar stuff that I needed to fix. So that took a little while doing that as well. But anyway, they have the new one on the way, so I'll be getting those soon. And along with that, I did get and I've got this scanned in now, so I'm working on kind of the words that I'm putting down below, which is kind of, I think, just going to be all of their names kind of squished together in kind of a fun poster type way. But With Mr. Green's Monster Zine, what I was going to do was sell it as a partner piece with this. So instead of going, you can buy this and or this, it's going to be a combo pack. So it's kind of a manual that kind of tells the story of all of these characters on it and where they came from. And then just kind of a fun print that will go along with it. So got that finished and just need to, like I said, type in those things on the bottom and then send it off to the printer, which I need to figure out. But I think that kind of sums up. Yeah, so in progress, I guess I'll kind of include an announcement that I'm pretty darn excited about. We have talked in the past about, had an idea jam session here about a possible anthology that I might be included in. And I get to, what?
No, I was just agreeing. I was saying, yes, please share. I'm excited about that.
Yes. Yeah. I get to be included in that anthology. It's being put on by the 100s. Since I have completed that challenge, I got accepted, and there was a lot of people that got accepted that are really talented folks, so I'm excited to be in there. It's going to be a short story, which I think is really cool and has its own challenges. So it's going to be a 4-page short story involving mythical creatures. So it's actually not just werewolves and unicorns. That's just kind of like a sort of strange title for it. It's really just like involving mythical creatures. So it kind of opened the door for that. But I was really pumped and honored and can't tell you how excited I am that I did sort of get accepted into that. So yeah, I think that's my progress.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Problems?
Problems? Yeah, go ahead.
Man, I think problems would just be, it's definitely why it's taken me so long to decide to work on the personal project, is just like, okay, so now that I'm working on the personal project, I don't make quite as much time for the other stuff, which is why I'm actually taking this time right now to work on some print work here. Because I definitely, like right now, I'm more of an illustrator print artist. I make my money off of commissions and prints and stuff like that. So the stuff that keeps the money coming in terms of the art business to keep the other stuff running, like stuff on the side, you know, like kind of running an ad or buying supplies, you know, buying more screen tone. When I run out of screen, just all that kind of general stuff comes from this kind of stuff. And I have to put it a little bit on the back burner to be able to get the other stuff done. You know, until I get a good book in my hands and have that ready to be sold and can start kind of pushing myself as that side of my art. So it's sometimes a little bit of like I have to be like, oh crap, okay, I really should be working on a page right now, but let's finish a new print, because then I can put that, you know, that's something for the wall or for to throw onto the page, and then to get people excited about my stuff. Because like so far, the only way I've ever really marketed myself is this kind of stuff. I've never actually really marketed myself with a book, but literally the only reason I ever started drawing was because of wanting to make books and make comics and stuff. So I'd say problems right now is finding a way to balance those two things and still be sort of happy with my progress, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Yeah, so, comics, they're not always the best way to immediately like make money off that comic. So yeah, if you really want to be making some money off of doing this sort of thing, yeah, you got to be able to devote time to both. So I can see how that can be problematic when you finally get your teeth sunk into the project you really want to be working on, but it's not making any money immediately.
Like I got a couple of actual really fun commissions. Like I kind of sometimes jokingly like complain about like when I get like, oh, I'm doing a logo or this kind of random thing for some person that I'm like just trying to check that thing off the list. But I did actually get a couple of commissions this past couple of weeks that were really fun ones that were like, yeah, of course I want to draw that thing. That sounds awesome. You know, like leftover con people who gave me an actual fun sort of topic or illustration to kind of play with, you know? Mm-hmm. And then sometimes I get really wrapped up in that. Like, that's one thing about me. Like, hire me for a commission on like a cool, like, you know, like I'd been talking about in the past. I think I mentioned in the past podcast that I was watching that Tokyo Ghoul show, and it was because I drew that thing on the podcast. I was getting really stoked about that show because when I look at the original art too of the manga, it's like really dark and they use screen tones in a really cool way, and it's part of like what really inspired me to keep following and using screen tone stuff. And so someone like was like, "Hey, I want to do a commission of that." Like this conversation I'm having with you, I had with one of my customers, and they like thought it was really cool how much that inspired me, and they were like, can you do like a original piece of that for me? And I got like real wrapped up in it, and even did like a color version for him. And then it was like that was a good week that I spent mostly in that and only a little bit in the comic, but like for a good reason, you know. But that kind of stuff is definitely just my number one struggle right now, is balancing still wanting to make new cool just illustrations and drawings and also working on the comic at the same time.
Makes sense. And you also highlighted a good tip there for the consumer trying to get a cool commission piece from an artist. If you can request something that the artist is excited about, they'll spend a little extra time on it, a little more than the money's even worth maybe sometimes. So
yeah, and I don't want that to sound like a bad thing, but yeah, there have been many times where just because the topic the person chose was just like, I was already also stoked about it. Yeah, I definitely probably ended up making a way better piece because I was able to put some personal investment into it.
well, and commissions generally, like, they are what they are, which is, you know, a finished original piece. It's polished and nice and everything. But you're not necessarily spending like 2 weeks on it because you're making like a print out of it or something. It's like it is what it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you get somebody excited and they just want to spend, you know, a couple extra hours or a couple extra days or whatever, end up with some cool stuff. So thank you, Ace, for the excuse me, the woohoo. I think that was in reference to the anthology thing, and you asked if I went with the buddy cop theme. I don't think I'm going to, although I loved it because it did look like somebody else in the group had and it probably, like the stories I'm sure would end up quite different, but something that was a little bit along those lines, and they kind of had their idea there first and everything. And once I found out that it could be opened up to not just werewolves and unicorns, it kind of made me step back to rethink a little bit.
Oh yeah. I heard you say that there, and I was actually about to ask when you said it's just more mythical creatures. So it isn't just strictly just those two creatures. It's just general like fun lore of mythical things.
Exactly. I guess it was a bit more of a, and I guess I wasn't the only one who just like got like assumed literally with that. It was just kind of like a from wolves to unicorns, you know. But it can really be, you know, wizards and elves and things like that, and kind of has to be okayed. And you know, it can even, like I said before, be a concept that doesn't directly involve that, but maybe just, you know, two duders hanging wearing a unicorn and a werewolf T-shirt or something, you know. It can really be most anything, but you do have to get your idea okayed. The kind of cool thing is it doesn't start until January 1st, so you have to get your idea okayed anytime between now and then. And then, excuse me, sorry, on January 1st starts, they're going to kind of do 100 days from then. So you can do 100 days of making comics, or just know that you have 100 days to get it done. But kind of in the spirit of everything and as a deadline, you have exactly 100 days and like no more. Like you have to have everything done. So that's plans. I was about to get into plans. I'm sorry. I just wanted to kind of address what you said there. That's awesome. Don't think too hard though. Just throw a ton of stuff out and see what's good. Yeah, for sure. I don't want to get lost in my head about it. Maybe we'll do another idea jam session just to see. But yeah, it's just a 4-page thing, so just kind of a quick but don't boom joke type thing, you know. So we'll see what happens. But I don't know if I cut in. I thought were you done with your problems for now?
That's putting it over to you. Give us your problems.
All right. So problems was kind of a good one this last couple weeks. Like good and bad. Like I haven't been focusing just all my time on my projects the last couple weeks because I had been going so strong with 100 Days of Making Comics, and then right in Inktober and everything. And then October is just a fun month for my wife and I. And then honestly, the last couple weeks, her and I have been a little bit under the weather. So kind of taking care of each other in those ways when we can, and having to like work all the time as well. So I've still been like putting in time on everything, but not as much as I'd like to, but kind of made a decision to do that because I knew with these other projects coming up with wanting to get October going, since that is something that I'm still wanting to work with Rao on getting published and everything. And then this other anthology, I'm going to be really devoting a lot of time to that here pretty soon. So I did kind of want to have a little bit of me and wife time and be able to kind of take care of her and her take care of me and all that fun stuff. Then, so that's kind of been the problem that's been happening. But now ramping up into Thanksgiving and Christmas, as you know, working the job that I work, that we used to work, and being a manager at the store, you know, it's just going to be a tough season. Like starting next week, it's 6 days you work every week. So you get Sundays off, but the rest of the week you're working kind of through Christmas and everything. So that presents a little bit of a problem, even with just like the new video segment that I'm wanting to do on YouTube, where I'm wanting to kind of travel around and show people my area and my experiences and edit their video. I'm really not going to have much time to like really like go and do a whole lot in the next month and a half or so. So that's been a little bit of a bummer. And then just the general stress of work and how that can get you down when you're wanting to be working on your dreams, but you're kind of stuck with reality sometimes. So that's okay. That's what we all deal with, but it's just been a tough one lately, and probably will be for the foreseeable future, for a little while anyway, at least through you know, this holiday season. So that's been a little bit rough, but you know, we all deal with our stuff. But you know, I have these pretty fun projects to look forward to and everything, and kind of thought with the time, I want to kind of get October thumbnailed out and this 4-page story thumbnailed out by January 1st, ideally. And for the most part, have those, like the 4-page thing, have that like ready to go thumbnailed out. And October, have that like thumbnailed out, but possibly little changes here and there, but have that thumbnailed and ready to go. So I can hopefully, in less time than the 100 days, get that 4-page thing knocked out, and then just kind of roll right into the October thing, because I will have October ready by next Halloween. I will have it ready, and it's going to take a lot of work. But so I got a lot of that coming up. But thought in the meantime, thumbnailing and sketching, you know, some figures and getting, you know, some anatomy studies going would be time well spent. So trying to fit in a lot. I know, I'm sorry, I kind of rolled into, you know, some of my plans there as far as that goes with the near future, but it just kind of part of the plans is the problem. So they kind of go hand in hand at this point. So we'll see how that goes.
That's awesome. Yeah, I feel you though. I mean, I'm used to having your job though, like knowing how that works out. Remember that you hit January, you hit February, and the stuff does slow down. So you have that to look forward to.
Yeah, and hopefully just kind of, you know, maybe figuring out my next step as far as income goes. You know, I'm not quite ready to make the switch to art, and I'm super excited about all the comic stuff that's going on. But in some ways, I really wish I could hit that window painting stuff that I've talked about before, but not for a while. I really, you know, it kind of stinks because I kind of feel like if I would have done like 100 days, you know, here recently of like that, and really just like put the time in on that, I think I would, you know, be pretty far along and have the confidence to start going out to some businesses and being like, hey, I'm a window painter and I'm making some extra money, you know, because I think that is kind of a good goal for me within not too much of a time frame, but it's kind of like work on this art thing over here, work on comics over here, and now I have some opportunities here, but I still got to work the crap job over here.
Right.
But anyway, that's kind of what I'm struggling with here. But hey, thanks for the offer, Ace. He says, I'm pretty good at thumbnails if you need any help. Thank you, sir. Your guys is
that's a huge chunk of sarcasm right there.
No, I love it. I can
Every
tell.
time he thumbnails something for Rao, it always turns out looking very phallic.
Okay.
It's like stick figures and giant cyclopses like grabbing people, and it always looks super strange. So yeah, I would not have him be a thumbnail.
All right. Well, if I decide to do a comic about, you know, like a thumb war or something like that.
Oh, there you go.
Come find you, Ace.
Nah, he's like helping Rao with sort of like storyboard stuff and stuff like that, and which is actually kind of an interesting thing that like people who are good at that kind of stuff, like awesome ideas, like aren't always the artist, you know, like having those really cool compositions and stuff. You know, it comes from a different brain sometimes, and I kind of love that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why the first comic I ever did, Barcode Marauders, I actually kind of developed with my brother Tony. And I'd actually love to really get that going again because kind of same thing. We share a lot in common as far as like movie tastes and things that we like. But
Yeah.
he's not, you know, an artist or a creative type or whatever. But I kind of value people's ideas and kind of working with folks on developing things because through having conversations with those people and developing ideas, you are going to get to something that you would have never got otherwise. And like you said, see it through kind of a unique point of view. So,
Yeah,
oh
that's
man,
definitely.
I'm kind of watching the chat on my phone over here. And when you do that, the live thing is on a little bit of a lag. And I looked over out of the corner of my eye and saw myself doing this a bunch. So, which I'm going to get to see again here in a second, like a few times since I keep doing it.
Like seeing you on the live, looking at you on the live.
It's the worst. Anyway, man, so that's a lot of problems, I guess, and kind of plan stuff. So how about your plans, man? Let's roll into it.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess I did kind of also like I snuck in plans, you know, when I was talking about just progress in general. But yeah,
you
March, March, man, just like what you said, like I will be doing October. I will be doing a Kickstarter in March. It will be my first, and I am very excited about it. I'm just ready to roll. Like it's just one of these things I've been talking myself into for so long, and it's like why not kind of stuff, you know. And I don't know. I'm just really excited to just see what happens, see who shows up. Who I even like I've mentioned it to some friends of mine or just some fans in general of mine that have become friends and stuff like that. Who I don't know, who've never really even bought anything from me, but when I bring this up, they're like really excited. They're like, yeah, man, I've been like, it's almost like I've been waiting to see this from you. Like I know you've been talking about it forever, and I can't wait to like it's just this thing that like I don't know what it is about like really, like making a product and making a project. You know, like we always say that to ourselves here on this. We're always like, you know, you need a project, not like that's like the
You
always say
product, not a project.
Yeah, product, not a project. Exactly. Yeah, that's what it is. And I just feel like this project is leading me towards a really cool product, and I can't wait to just like put it not just in my hands but in other people's hands too. And it's been a really cool thing knowing that other people are just as excited as I am about it. Like I do this it's just it was very organic the way all this kind of stuff came to be too. Like I have so many like story ideas like in a folder on my computer that like when I first got into this, I was like writing stuff down and making up all these different stories. And this one here was even like probably in my mind like the back of the burner. But once I started to actually draw it and like illustrate it and realize that like I love to draw like these robots and this like cool organic looking mechanical thing that's very human like kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like I realized like that's sort of what my style is outside of just drawing the way I draw when I draw my illustrations and my prints. And so like it's been a very cool organic thing to just like, you know, last year it was just a couple of different originals in my book that some people got excited about, and now there's 4 full color prints on my wall that people get excited to see. And actually I guess 5 now because I redid that Apollo one too. Like just really cool how organically I've kind of moved through this cool world and these cool illustrations that have just kind of come to my mind. And so yeah, so I'm not maybe not probably like first week of March, you know, because I wanted to overlap, like I said, with that convention, which is at the end of March, and I'll get that support from those people who kind of know me already, and then I'll have that chance to kind of meet some new people and share it still, and it'll still be live, and I'm like super excited about that. And then also by the next convention, this is like that thing, how I not burn out. Like we talked about this a little bit in the past couple of shows. My best way to not burn out is to have other projects going on top of projects. Like right now I'm coloring this print so that by the time I hit that convention, I will also have new things to show. I'd say there's a small group of dudes and ladies and people that I see only at that convention, and I'll see their likes in between, but I never really see anything else. They're kind of excited to like see me at the show and ask what's new, and that's when they buy stuff from me, you know. Mm-hmm. And so I want some new stuff that has been on the table, because I mean for them there'll be a lot of new stuff because the last 3 cons I've done I've always tried to have something new, but there'll be like even new stuff from anybody just from the last con to this con. And so I'm trying to get 4 new color prints done on top of sort of working back and forth, and just originals in between. Like I made the comment on my post today on my Instagram and Facebook that like I'm trying to film more, like progress stuff. I'm just trying to bring the tripod with me back and forth to school when I draw, and just like set it. I got it yesterday, a couple of days ago. I had just set up at my desk, and literally just like if I sat down to draw between letting students work in my plan period, I just like hit record and made some time lapses kind of stuff. Because that's the other thing I want to get going to is I want to get some more episodes of the tips and the time lapse up, and I want to some serious plans for like I've been wanting to do forever on the channel, but
very cool.
Right now the comic is the #1 priority. So,
well, here just real quick, Spencer asked in the comments, "What's the Kickstarter for funding a personal project?" And yeah, yes. What David's been talking about, his comic he's making called Analog Missions. What's Analog Missions about, David?
Perfect. Nice little segue. Yeah. So Spencer, if you jump over on my Instagram, you'll see tons of like, if you jump back to March of Robots, I used as a really cool platform to like do a bunch of original illustrations of characters from the book. And the probably whole last month of October, I did pages from the comic, but it's called Analog Missions. It's about a world that has been literally and sort of metaphorically sort of ripped in two. By sort of a war that has lasted a really long time on the planet, and it has kind of destroyed the atmosphere. And because of this destruction of the atmosphere, the sort of people living, or whatever you want to call these robotic people, like they have to wear the suits that they're wearing. Like the things that, like the reason why these characters get to look so kind of just cool and different and stuff is because they've kind of accidentally sort of destroyed their world and are living very much in the pieces of it left over after this big giant war. And so it became this really cool device to tell a bunch of different stories about different topics that I kind of are near to my heart. So the series is going to be, Analog Missions is going to be a 3-part series. And each story, each part is about basically a different character, and they're like what led them up to the bigger story, which is going to be come out. And it's a really cool, like, I found this really cool way to tell a like multi-layered story. But you could pick up I've written this in a way that you could pick up number 3 and have never read number 1, and it still be a really nice short story. So I'm writing them in a very like short story format, so that they begin and end and sum themselves up, but still leave you wanting more. Which I guess is also just if I'm really trying to be, I love a good epic, but I also hate a good epic because sometimes I do just want to pick up a book and just love the book for what it is, and then not have to feel so just itching waiting for the next one. And then the creator doesn't make the next one, and then you're like, man, what would have become of that? So there's this thing of just like each one of these books will feel like a really good story all on its own.
Very cool. Nice. He says, "Too cool. Added to my watch list. The art style is superb." I don't know if you
thanks, man.
So, thanks very much for joining us, Spencer. You too, Ace. So yeah, that kind of gets us through the Triple P's portion of the show, which we kind of yacked for a while, honestly, because it's been a while since we've gotten a chance to talk to each other.
Oh yeah.
One thing we did kind of want to do is, since we have talked, I released a video, my 100 days kind of wrap up and top 10 tips, and then David had 2 videos that he released to Live Ink. So we thought it'd be kind of fun, since we hadn't gotten a chance to talk to each other, to watch the other person's videos, and then maybe just kind of let the other person know what we thought of them, if there were any critiques or any thoughts as far as that goes. And I have the beast pet behind me here. I need to feed him. He's getting rowdy. So, what'd you think, David? Did you get a chance to watch it?
Yes, I did, and I really did enjoy it. My critiques are kind of what they always are for you, which is that you are new to and are an old man when it comes to technology, right?
Yeah.
That title font, which was like this Star Wars trolley font thing, you know?
You don't like the Star Wars?
Man, it's just like there's this. It's like Comic Sans. It's like it's not, it's horrible because it is. You know what I mean?
All right. All right. I'll take a break.
It's like that thing where it's like, it's kind of a funny gimmick, but like in the grand scheme of like making a video look nice, it ends up making you be like, oh, he didn't, did he?
I just love the cheese, and honestly, I think the crawl is useful.
I mean, that's real.
And also, like, there's a lot of videos I watch that really I'm just listening to. So sometimes I put stuff like that in. I'm like, I wonder if people are really like watching. But apparently they are. All right, taken.
That's a personal thing for me, but it was that like, it was almost that like, if I didn't know you, I might have been like, yeah, I bet he did use the Star Wars theme.
It was kind of in keeping though, like that was the whole theme throughout the 100s. So I can kind of start fresh in a video series from here, which I do want to do, absolutely, to be honest with you.
Yeah. What I loved though was, number one, your idea for your thing. Like, even just in that, like, I was literally watching that, but thinking, yeah, can I know, take a picture and start drawing. Like, I was already wanting like a video in the series, like seeing those cool, like, we had this talk when you first brought the idea up to me, but you literally always like when you first moved out there, you would always go live of you just in a random place in a, like, oh, check it out, I'm in this random canyon and it's beautiful, and you would just like nature hike go live, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, it made me think of that and how cool it would be if, while you did your nature hike live thing, then you were like, yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and sit down and just start drawing what I see, and like how awesome of it, like, I'm in, like, I want to see more of that. That sounds like it's just such a cool idea. Like, I literally felt like I was watching the Travel Channel for a second, like wanting to go to that donut place and wanting to like, you know what I mean? It's almost like I wanted to visit Bellingham, which it sounds like it's the kind of place that no one ever has that feeling for. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a big idea behind it, is that idea of a long time ago, for a long time, and it's kind of still to a certain degree, if people are like, if you could do any job in the world, any dream job, what would you want to do? And for a long time now, I'd love to host a travel show, because I love traveling and kind of showing people what's what. So cool. I'm glad that that's an idea that might click with people. I have seen a couple people doing very similar things and everything, and I think I've got a good idea down for what I'm wanting to do, because I don't want it to be just, hey, look at me drawing, but hopefully it's something that can help feed like the watcher's creative bank account, you know. The idea of like, what am I going to draw today, you know? Oh, tune into Scott's thing and see what weird stuff, you know, he saw this week or whatever. But anyway, I'm glad that's coming through. Thank you.
I really think, I mean, that's my biggest one, honestly. It's just that like, we both are like that. We're both new at this. We both, like, in terms of deciding like how to format videos and keep things feeling cohesive and natural and stuff like that. Like, we have a lot to work on, but no, I think you've got good content, and I really do want to see more from it.
Thanks very much. Yeah, I want to get some titles kind of made for it, and even if it's, you know, I do kind of like my weird sort of garage rock, you know, kind of approach to stuff sometimes, you know, just you know, duct taping up the things to make it work. And if I can do that in a thorough enough kind of way, I think it can kind of show through as a interesting branding, so to speak. For that type of thing. But no, I appreciate that, man.
It makes you feel like, it sounds like I turned the chat against me, and they were just calling me a hater for hating on the Star Wars font.
No worries, I totally get it. I do love cheese, and when there's times where I know it'll put a smile on my face, that does trump certain things sometimes, but it shouldn't. Yeah, no, in general, I do just want some titles to be a little bit more personal. And there's people that make some awesome animated things that happen, that scroll across the bottom of their screen as they're going live. And even if I'm you know, joker about it, as we're sitting here talking, you know, I just kind of have something that like I made by hand, and I just kind of creep up in the screen like that, you know, and ignore it. I don't know, it's goofy and me, and it's fun to kind of, you know, draw fonts and that kind of fun stuff anyway. So actually, yeah, just got to get that figured out. But
on that note, your little crumple up the paper stop motion thing, I did actually really appreciate. So like in terms of that, like you love that GarageBand reel drawn by hand, that thing. Like maybe that's how you play with your title stuff. Like these film some more of that cool, just like the thing happening with like picture stop motion, and maybe that'll be like that could be your style for the thing, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I love that kind of thing, and that was something where that came about kind of last minute. So it's kind of yeah, it's been on my brain since I did that one. I'm like, okay, I could have, and I like that idea. Like, I don't know how to do a lot of stuff with art, but why I enjoy doing it, why I keep doing it, is even if I don't know how to do it, I'll still make it happen and get creative on how to get there.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, problem solving, I think, is kind of a hugely important attribute for an artist. It's not just kind of learning all the rules and then just applying them. A lot of times it is problem solving to get from point A to point B in a creative way or whatnot. So thanks. Moving on, right?
Yeah.
I love your segments. You have a great teacher voice. You remind me a little bit of Jake Parker in your way of kind of succinctly kind of boiling things down to certain points, bullet points, which I think is good to have as an artist here on YouTube doing this, because there are a lot of artists here on YouTube who are sharing their experience and giving advice and things like that. But a lot of us, you and me sometimes, and even, you know, Jake Park, people who kind of really have it down, artists kind of tend to ramble and sometimes forget to really kind of break it down to, okay, these are really the main things to consider in this. We'll talk about those, but bing, 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 this is kind of the important stuff. And you just kind of have a knack for that. You're a teacher, and you kind of seem to be minded that way. So it seems like you've already, you know, got a long list of that type stuff. So I think that's going to come quite naturally to you. The only like critique thing I really had, one thing it's kind of for all of us YouTubers to kind of consider is really trying to like figure out a standard of our sound. This one really isn't so much about yours, just the fact that like the first one was like loud and the second one was quiet or whatever. That wasn't like a big deal, but it's just something that made me think about from my own videos and our videos. From video to video of a lot of people, the sound can be like way different, because I don't think they stop to go, you know, I recorded it at this level this time and I posted it. What does that sound like now that I'm listening to it?
Right.
Okay, let me try to repeat that next time and have a kind of a level of consistency. It's a small thing, but I think kind of adds a level of professionalism. Like I said,
that's definitely because what ended up happening was the first episode I had my full setup. I had my computer with my nice mic, and the second time I couldn't get my computer working at school. I actually filmed my second episode at my classroom, so I was filming it from my phone, and I was trying to do it in the morning, but I ended up doing it in the evening during my plan period. I didn't want to be yelling so loud because like my teacher voice gets pretty loud. That like
so the strange thing about that is the first one you said you recorded on a really nice mic. When I listened to that one in my car, I didn't have to have it turned up very loud, kind of low at times. But since you recorded on a nice mic, there was a lot of good like body to it. So it was actually at times sort of tough to hear you, especially because you, like me, have a lot of inflection where sometimes you're excited like this and then other times you kind of like this. So like those would just kind of mumble over with that kind of real nice recording thing, because the bass on my speaker, I don't know, it was kind of rough. When you recorded the second one, it was quite a bit quieter. I had to almost turn my thing up all the way. But when I got to the level that I could hear, it was actually like crystal clear, and you were consistent, and it wasn't any problem of spiking or anything. So just as a heads up, I don't know, I listen to stuff. I don't know anything like about music and things like production, but like I just listen to stuff real carefully. So I don't know, sometimes that's like an immediate turnoff for me when listening to somebody's video, is a sound thing just being kind of wonky. And like I've had the same stuff. In fact, my voice on my thing was kind of wonky because I recorded it in my car on my laptop. So, but that was one thing that I thought about. But that was really more of a general for everybody, kind of like check your sound and learn from your sound. I think like everyone forgets to go, how did I kind of set my levels last time? But
that's just a real problem with me. I mean, I've even probably done in this episode. So me in teacher mode, I'm loud AF. And then me in like casual mode, which is I've put myself in here because my wife actually did just like pop her head down the stairs and tell me to shut up because she's trying to go to bed.
Gotcha.
like it's that inflection thing. Like when I'm just chill voice, I am actually a very like grumbly voice, but when I'm like, yeah, this thing that I love, I get real like that about my voice, and then it's like my volume is up and down, up and down, up and down, depending on how stoked I am, kind of thing.
Yeah. And with that, so that kind of like the only like real kind of for you criticism or critique or whatever is once again something that like I know that I do, which is how I kind of recognize it. And once again, had to do with the sound, but more in kind of the way you were speaking. And like I said, I do it too, so I'm not trying to call you out or anything weird like that. And it wasn't a huge problem, but it has to do with like I'm going to try to like imitate it. But when you're talking, you're going on a point for a while, and then you just kind of, then you kind of have like a little wrap up thing here, and you kind of talk really fast. Like we both kind of do that where you're talking, you're making your point, and then you sort of the voice gets kind of quieter and speeds up.
Right.
And when I do it, I can't understand me, and it was kind of happening a couple times here and there with you. For the most part, like you have a great like speaking voice and everything. It's just in that you don't have like a lot of likes and a lot of ums and stuff like that. But we both do that when we're talking, and then it's and it's like, wait, what was that last part?
That's really probably our version of liking and umming is like it's almost like a little bit of a trail off mumble to our next point, so we're not liking and umming, which is I guess
exactly
right.
It's kind of like we're talking more than like we should be at that point, and we know it, but it's like I just can't stop. I don't know, but it wasn't like a big thing, and I think it's just you actually have like a really good talent for doing the drawing while you're talking thing, which I have to develop. If I'm doing that at this point, I kind of have to draw the thing and then do a voiceover. So I commend you on that for sure.
Right.
But no, man, I like the video. I like the segment. You always have interesting stuff to talk about. I dig them.
It's like a fun thing for me because it's like you said, as a teacher, I already kind of have lots of these things. Half of them are from experiences I've had at a convention, half of them from some fun drawing thing I've done in the past, and a lot of it is just literally from like students really are the best example of all the problems that we have as artists because they admit them, because it's like it's this thing as a student in high school to like just complain about they're not real for everybody, And so I overhear lots of conversations of like students with these conceptions that like actually a lot of adult artists also have, because you don't really grow out of those things unless someone tells you like, hey, grow out of that. Like everyone has that problem. It's okay, kind of thing.
For sure, man. And I admire that and envy that about you, that you have that teacher quality, because not only do I just feel like I still just have a ton to learn, but I don't necessarily have that quality. Excuse me, to be able to go, okay, I did this drawing today. How can I turn this into a lesson for somebody else? So and that's actually been on my mind a lot with like how can I give back to the community where there are so many people who are like, here, let me give you lessons on how to draw the hand or how to do this or how to think about this business thing or that. And I'm like, I don't want to be just another voice doing that, because honestly, there's a lot of people doing that better. You, for instance, you're a teacher and you're good at it. So that's, I don't know, even just kind of trying to think of something to give back to like try to keep up with folks like yourself is how I came to drawing inspiration. I'm like, if I'm going out and getting excited by the stuff I see, and I love seeing little glimpses into other people's life, if I can kind of bring a little bit of that experience to somebody else and show them something they haven't seen before, maybe I can just help out that way. But I definitely admire your ability to turn those things into lessons for people. Pretty cool.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. That's actually you've made actually a really good point that can be a little bit of a so I'm doing it right now, right? I'm kind of this is like the literal point you were just making. I'm going to turn everything we just talked about into a lesson, right?
Mm-hmm. Like, absolutely. The Jake Parker wrap up.
Finding your strengths in what you can do and what you can give back to that, whatever that thing that you do is meaningful. But you make a good point in terms of like I even actually have that thought sometimes. Like okay, I love to do this thing. I love to be a teacher, and I love to spread my knowledge. But I mean, there are already a lot of other people doing it, and maybe doing it better than me. But this is what I have, and this is what I have to give back. And so I'm using that thing, and I'm being one more voice that people can find and they can hear and they can learn from, kind of thing. You are somebody who like you're not tied down with like kids. Like you and Stacey always get to do crazy fun stuff because you're just like, boom, we have a day off, let's go have fun kind of thing, you know? And that's a thing that I don't, man, my dream day is get in the studio, getting a few hours in, and hang out in the backyard with my family, and then maybe it's like at least nap time, and I get a couple more hours in of drawing, and then comes the end of the day, and I get to just veg out in front of like my dream day has nothing to do with travel. So I think when I watched your thing and got to see you go do these cool things and go to these cool places, I was able to kind of like, cool, I got my experience for the day of not having to leave my house, but you did it for me, you know?
Well, that's right, man. I appreciate that. It's kind of a goal. I think sometimes the sort of weird, afraid to be narcissistic side of myself, something like this could be like, look at my selfie, look at me, look where I am sort of a thing. But I'm a kid that grew up in the Midwest with like no oceans or mountains around or anything. So this stuff is like, it makes me feel like a little kid to see it. And it's just like fun to share that sort of thing with people. And like you said, if it's something where I get to show people something that gets them excited to go, let's go explore my area, or makes you go, yeah, man, the Northwest is pretty awesome. Maybe we should go out there for a trip sometime. You know, it's kind of cool. Like I said, I love travel. And so, yeah, I kind of ruined your wrap up because I just started yapping after it. But I think that's an awesome wrap up, is instead of concentrating on maybe the things that you can't offer or that you can't do, figure out how you can use what you have and what you can do to accomplish that task. Whether it's you can't make an animated thing, so you make a stop motion video, or you know, you just put what you have toward sharing with everybody. Because you got to give back, right? If you're going to be showing people your artwork, you got to give a little something back. So
yeah, and I think I kind of love that vibe. That it's like. I talk about this to my students all the time, that like the internet is so cool because like you can just get on there, and if you got something to give, there's that wants it, you know, like you just got to find the audience. They're out there, like find your strengths and find your style and find your voice and put it out there. And it's like, I don't know, I just love that idea of that, like art being an artist. There's like that, there's still that fine artist thing of like what it used to look like, but there's definitely this new trend of like, being an artist is finding what your strengths are and putting those out into the world for other people to share with you, and then like kind of go on their journey with you.
Amen to that. So everybody go draw stuff, go do whatever you're good at, and share it with people. We want to see it. We really do.
Yeah.
Whether it's your weird phallic thumbnails or whatever art project you're working on at art school right now. And sincerely, for anybody in the live chat or anybody seeing this later, leave links to your stuff below. Spence, I subscribe to your channel. I'd love to see more from you, and you know, share links with us, because it's fun getting inspired by people all around us. Whether it's, you know, if you have a unique YouTube channel that you want to share with us and check out, or some art that you want us to see or share on the show or talk about, man. We love seeing all that stuff and seeing what folks are up to. So please come here and share it with us.
Yeah, for sure.
You got anything else, Dave?
No, I think that's it. I think we did the wrap up. So let's do the closeout. You want to start it?
Yeah. When I'm not here, you can find me on Instagram at Mr. Green Draws, mr.greendraws. And that's really the main thing. That's where you'll kind of see what's going on. But if you can't find me there, just search I'd Rather Be Drawing on .com or on Facebook. You, David?
Yep, Facebook at Mr. David Fleming. You can find me on Instagram at Art of Mr. Fleming, and you can actually find me on my store Envy as well. Speaking of the illustration side of what I do, if you want to see more of my prints and my illustrations for sale, Store Envy is also Mr. David Fleming, and the link changes a lot on the Instagram, but what I like to leave up is a link tree, which is like just, it's got everything you can find of me anywhere. You just like click on that link, it brings you to like a fun little landing page that has all my stuff to check out and see and experience and all that kind of good stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So I think that's a wrap up for tonight. So thanks for hanging out with us, guys. If you're watching this later, thanks for checking it out, for making it all the way to the end.
Yeah, please share it around. We love people to subscribe to the channel, like, comment. Appreciate you guys in the chat. Yeah, thanks very much, everybody.
Yeah, give a special shout out to Ace for always checking us out, and Spence for being a new guy. So peace.